Good day, viewers. This is Tech Mag TV News. My name is Stephanie Truter, and these are the headlines. Police ban CCC Masvingo rally. ZAPU Spurns Chamisa's offer. Chihuri corruption trial deferred again. The Citizens Coalition for Change rally set for Masvingo on Sunday at Mucheke Stadium is hanging in the balance after police there refused to sanction it on the pretext that ZANU-PF has booked the same venue. The party's Masvingo provincial leadership said it is not receiving fair treatment from the police, who have refused to clear their proposed venues and urging them to find another date to hold their rally different from that of ZANU-PF's. This was revealed by Pastic District Chairperson Marta Mureri, who said the police have so far rejected 2 of their proposed venues. Mureri said the party leadership was seized with the matter and would make sure the rally goes ahead as planned. Masvingo police spokesperson Inspector Kurakwashe Dewa claimed he wasn't aware of these developments. CCC had initially planned to hold their rally at Mucheke Stadium B Arena, but the bid was rejected. They reportedly went on to propose Mamutse Stadium, but they were told it had been booked by the ruling party, ZANU-PF, for a rally on the same day. Another effort to use Pangolin Ground, which is about 2 kilometers away from Mamutse Stadium, also hit a snag after police said it was too close to ZANU-PF's intended venue for its Sunday rally and could trigger violent clashes. National Police spokesperson recently scoffed at the allegations that the police were deliberately blocking CCC rallies countrywide, while ZANU-PF and MDC alliance to hold rallies and door-to-door campaigns. He accused CCC for failing to meet the requirements by law for a political party to host a rally. In our other local news, opposition party ZAPU has rejected an apparent proposal for support by Citizens Coalition for Change leader Nelson Chamisa in exchange for a return of the party's properties seized at the height of Kukurahundi atrocities if he wins power. Chamisa claimed at a rally in Bulawayo recently that he would ensure his government would return ZAPU's properties, which include farms, buildings, and factories. ZAPU spokesperson Muslengwa Ndlovu told NewZimbabwe.com in an interview the party was not interested in Chamisa's benevolence, saying it was more than capable of handling its own affairs. Ndlovu said ZAPU, which will field the iconic late Vice President Joshua Nkomosan Sibangilizwe as his presidential candidate in the 2023 general election, would take its properties back upon assuming power. He said while ZAPU was flattered to know that there is a party which finally cares about the return of its properties, it was in the race to solve the problems on its own. High Court Judge Justice Pisirai Gwanda has deferred to March 24 the case in which the state is accusing former Police Commissioner General Augustine Chihuri of side-tracking $32 million of public funds into family companies. This follows a request by one Irina Muchingami to be joined to the proceedings. Muchingami bought one of the properties from Chihuri and is claiming her rights to one of the properties under legislation, according to Chief Law Officer Chris Matangadura. This becomes the 4th time the case has been proposed since the time it was first set down for hearing. The matter spilled into court after the then Prosecutor General Kumbirai Hodzi checked with the Deeds Office and established the rushed disposal of assets by the Chihuris. This resulted in him being granted powers to freeze the properties and assets. The state alleges that on July 17, 2018, Chihuri's wife Isabel sold stand 1421 Glentwin Township, which was walled, gated with borehole, water tank, tank stand, and wooden cabin, to Brian Chijaka for $130,000. Her brother Ateken Khan had her power of attorney to make the transaction, reads the publication. The state is also seeking answers on the sale of 5 properties that were part of the family's large property portfolio, despite they had been placed under the Asset Management Unit. The state requires Chihuri to explain how properties were sold. Independent Northern lawmaker Themba Mliswa has formally reported local government, public works and national housing minister July Moyo to the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission over a corrupt $9 million water pump tender. Moyo has been implicated in the corrupt awarding of the lucrative deal to his alleged crony businessman Paul Kruger to supply water pumps to the city of Harare. The multi-million-dollar contract was awarded to Petrico Irrigation, which was represented by Paul Kruger in Zimbabwe, allegedly without going to tender. Treasury released the funds for the deal at the height of Harare's crippling water crisis in October 2020 after Moyo presented a paper in cabinet asking government to intervene. This resulted in cabinet resolution instructing Treasury to urgently release $9.3 million to procure critical equipment for repairing the Morton Jeffrey Waterworks plant, which had been shut down. Mliswa argues Moyo and Kruger need to be subjected to a forensic probe to establish the veracity of information presented to the cabinet, the pricing of the pumps, as well as the latter's professional competencies regarding the scope of works. Mliswa urged in a letter to the ZACC chairperson, Lois Matanda Moyo, dated March 15, 2022, that since the purchase of the pumps did not involve a competitive bidding process, he would like to know how Paul Kruger arrived at the figure of $9.3 million for the 5 pumps. He went on to attach a quotation for similar-sized pumps costing around $2 million. Former Gwanda Mayor Rido Mpofu, 71, was slapped with a 12-year jail term on Tuesday for raping a 15-year-old orphaned minor who was staying at his home. He appeared before Bulawayo Regional Magistrate Elisha Singano, who suspended 3 years from the initial 15-year jail term on condition of good behavior. The court heard that Mpofu, from Jacaranda suburb in Gwanda, would often fondle the minor. Sometime in 2019, after asking her to polish his shoes at night, he took advantage and raped her. Mpofu pleaded not guilty to the charge. Prosecutorial patient Simbanda said Mpofu would threaten to chase the victim away from his home or stop supporting her if she reported the matter. And now, in our regional news, Namibia's President Hage Geingob has announced that the wearing of face masks will no longer be mandatory in public places. Geingob said vaccinated foreign visitors will no longer require PCR testing on arrival into the country. The removal of COVID-19 restrictions in the country comes amid a reduction in new virus cases being reported. The president increased the number of people allowed to enter events from 500 to 1,000. He said the people using public transport and those attending indoor events will be encouraged to wear masks. The new measures will be in place for a month. The active coronavirus cases in the country stand at 222, with the country averaging 40 new cases per day in the last 7 days. Somalia is currently facing its third and most severe drought of the last decade. Isolated areas, particularly villages and settlements in central and southern regions, are the most affected. Women and children are particularly vulnerable, many having no choice but to leave. Since January, more than 120,000 people arrived to the camps around Somalia's capital, Mogadishu. Humanitarian organizations estimate that 1.5 million children, nearly half of Somalians under 5 population, are likely to suffer from acute malnutrition provoked by the drought. And now, in international news, by a vote of 15-2, with Vice President Kirill Givongayan of Russia and Judge Q Hanin of China dissenting, the International Court of Justice ruled that Russia shall immediately suspend the military operations that it commenced on the 24th of February this year. The court's ruling, the first such verdict handed down by the World Court since the Russian invasion began, is in response to a suit filed by Ukraine on the 27th of February, accusing Russia of manipulating the concept of genocide to justify its military aggression. Although the ICJ's verdict is binding, new reports questioned whether Moscow would abide by the ruling, and the court has no direct means of enforcing them. In a tweet shortly after the ruling, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the majority decision fully reinforces his repeated appeals for peace. And now, in our tech news, Cabinet has approved the Judicial Laws Amendment Bill that will provide for virtual court sittings. Justice Minister Ziyambi, who is also the chairperson of the Cabinet Committee on Legislation, presented the bill. Addressing a post-cabinet media briefing, Acting Information Minister Mangaliso Ndlovu said the bill also provided for the establishment of the Office of the Messenger of the Labour Court to enforce judgments. Ndlovu said Cabinet advises that the Judicial Law Amendment Bill seeks to provide for virtual court sittings in both civil and criminal proceedings and to align various provisions of judicial laws to the Constitution. Government adopted information communication technologies for virtual courts to enhance the justice delivery system during the COVID-19 pandemic. Netflix will start charging some users a fee for sharing their passwords. The improper sharing of accounts outside the household has affected Netflix's ability to invest in great new TV and film for members, the company has said. In a news release posted to its website Wednesday, the streaming giant announced it will begin testing ways to make users sharing an account outside the household pay for the additional members. This has been TechMag TV News. Please share, like, and subscribe as we bring you more top stories.